tell me about the food pantry.
10 years ago, I nagged my friend, for lack of a better word. I called Lisa one day and said, there's a great need in Gallatin County. I can see it. I can feel it. Unfortunately, we have been there before. We know what it's like to be worried about money and budgets and putting food on the table. And it was easy to see that there was a need here. I had been interacting in Northern Kentucky with some food pantries. So I called Lisa one day and said, we need to do this. We had resources in Northern Kentucky who were willing to help us, and they opened some major doors. They opened doors to introduce us to the Free Store Food Bank and to the R.C. Durer Foundation. And the R.C. Durer Foundation was offering to help 9 rural counties establish food pantries. But we had to make a 3-year commitment, sign the dotted line, say we would attend leadership classes, say we would operate the food pantry at least once a month for 12 months for 3 years. And in doing that, that was a pretty big commitment from our perspective.
Yeah. Because it meant that we had to get approval to leave work to do the training. From April to November, you had to go and meet and take the courses, and that's how you established your pantry and got set up from the ground up. I mean, they told you from the moment, like, this is how you establish your 501c3. This is, they worked us through every single step. And then you had to go out and get those resources, and,
You had to establish a board of directors. You had to do the paperwork to file with the state and with the IRS, which was all very scary.
Right. It's a process, yeah.
Right. So that was kind of how we got started.
So what they did is they wanted, you said 9 counties, so they brought I assume all 9 of you all together for training.
Yes.
And you met somewhere and you went through like how to run this, right? From ground up.
The Boone County Library in Burlington.
Okay.
That's where we went for some of the courses. Some days we went to the Free Store Food Bank in Cincinnati.
Okay.
The Free Store Food Bank partnered with the R.C. Durer Foundation to help establish those pantries.
Oh, great. Okay.
R.C. Durer is a man who was part of the community and was a philanthropic donor to so many. And this was part of his legacy, setting up that foundation to reach areas that he felt needed attention. And we felt honored to be a part of that and to be able to get something started for our community. So it was a process. We learned a lot. We laughed a lot. We knocked on a lot of doors. We nagged all our friends, not just, each other. We nagged all our friends. And that was how things really progressed.
And then you mentioned, like, I think you said earlier, just resources. Was there someone in Northern Kentucky already doing it, or was that like a food provider, or who else would?
The one we visited was Linda Blackwell.
We went, I have a friend named Linda Blackwell, and she was part of St. Paul's in Newport, their food bank. And I went there and volunteered several times and really learned their process so that we knew we could implement a lot of those things. One of the primary things that they did, when people came in, they were able to select the foods that their family would eat, which is a big deal versus getting a box of items that maybe you don't like anything in there, or you have allergies to those, or whatever it is. So we learned a lot from her, and we brought that to the table as well. Linda was very supportive and encouraging, and she introduced us to some of those people who were a part of the Free Store.
Well, a lot of people have autonomy, in that, so that kind of makes perfect sense. And this may be jumping ahead. Like I said, we can always come back. At what point did you all think of using? And I wasn't in the area at the time, but the former library building that's now where you all are. I mean, what was that at the time? Was it, when did you all move in there, I guess?
Well, we started in the American Racing Building because we started as a mobile pantry. So we were working in the American Racing Building, and the owners allowed us to come in there and work and open it up on Saturdays, and we worked in all types of weather and situations and critters, and you name it, we had it, and then we felt like we needed to, they wanted us to establish something permanent. That was part of the training that, that they said, this is your end goal, is to find a location, make it permanent, set your pantry up, shelving, so forth, so that eventually our main goal was to be a choice pantry, not, just a box with
Because it was really hard to be mobile then. There's a lot of different steps added that you all didn't need to be kind of working on stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started there.
So the building that's used to be the library years ago, I think it had the internet, might have been the internet that was in there in the front part.
Okay.
And the judge in fiscal court said, well, you can use the back part of the building, and
The senior center was there
the
too.
senior center was up front before the internet. So you have the senior center.
It was a busy building.
Yeah, so it's had
There's a lot going on there.
multiple, uses.
Right.
It's kind of been a multi-purpose.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things were set up already in the back, and so we utilized the back part with donated shelving.
And I mean, Lisa was able to work with fiscal court and the judge executive to show them how much we were doing, how many families we were touching, and what a need there was to establish a permanent location. So the fiscal court really helped us out there. The
And
judge
they
executive.
continue today to help us because we do not pay rent on our building. They allow us to utilize the building. They pay the insurance. They cover the cost of that and our utilities. One of the things that we learned in training from other counties was that was kind of unheard of from other counties. They didn't get the support that we did, and immediately, no questions asked from our judge in fiscal court. Well, yes, we're on board. Yes, we'll support you. And to continue to have that 10 years later is remarkable, and I think we're blessed to have that.
So it seems like in the 10 years, one of the most impressive accomplishments you've all been part of is being open, is keeping it going
Yes.
and kind of building from what you had.
Well, when we were establishing the board, some of the board members immediately said, "What's the plan? We want to know that you're not just doing this for a year. We don't want to be part of something like that." So again, we're like, well, we're in. And so they, after talking to us, they signed on too. And it was long-term commitments from pretty much everyone. And it was, we're all in. We're going to do whatever we have to do to make it work. When we first started at the American Racing Warehouse, we asked the community for help. We reached out to a lot of the churches and a lot of the businesses and told everyone we needed volunteers. And one of the first teams to show up was Dorman, which Lynette walked in the door. And when Dorman sends a team, they send a team. And they are a team. They know how each other work, and they know how to get it done.
So obviously there's a lot of logistics, a lot of thinking ahead, and it sounds like the more you do, the better you get, the easier it gets.
Yes.
Kind of a flywheel here. It starts really rolling along.
When we started, we had 100 families. That was what we had to do with 100 families.
Okay.
And we've gradually grown to 140. During the holidays, it's 175. So we actually get 140 packs of whatever we're purchasing for the month.
Okay.
And we do try to utilize local, like we try to buy from Save a Lot. So we do try to, to
Right.
shop locally. And, we still place orders with the Free Store Food Bank, and they're gracious that they deliver to us, once a month and bring fresh produce, and, that we can offer that as well.
So it sounds like kind of what you all are telling me. One of the major successes is just the group of volunteers that you all have working on this and getting involved, and people having opportunities to lead and give input and come up with great ways to be involved. How many volunteers right now?
I don't know that I could really answer right now. So when we started, we knew we had to have, 15 people on the ground on the day the truck would roll in.
Okay.
When it was the drive-through kind of delivery at the warehouse. And each month we realized, we need another person to be requesting donations. We need another person to write thank you notes. We need another person to order the food. And to order the food, you need to be up during the middle of the night when they post it before anyone else realizes you need to order the food. And so that was a process. So our volunteers, in my mind, went anywhere from 15 to 25 or 30 in a month, depending on what was going on and us establishing practices and how things were going to get done and dividing the work. It was not easy.
That's
It was-
impressive.
It was not easy.
I mean, we have a library of 8, and we sometimes have issues of
Always worry
figuring out.
about wearing out the volunteers, and I think Carolyn, she tries to rotate, volunteers a lot so that, But then you have some that really like to come, like Tuesdays on truck day is when they want to volunteer, and I think they have a really good time. I'm thinking she and I need to start coming on Tuesdays because they have a
lot of fun.
They have a lot of fun over there on Tuesday truck day is what I hear, and you see a lot of smiles going on. But it's like we didn't want to wear out that person, so we
Right.
the more volunteers you have, it allows you to rotate and give people breaks, and and utilize them in different areas, because sometimes we'll say, well, this person's really good at this, and this person's has a background for this, so
And we
utilize them that way.
You're trying to be thoughtful of your volunteer staff, and I get that.
And then there were companies that wanted to send a team. We want to send a team to give out food on this specific day. And we tried to do that a lot over the years. Now we're fortunate that we have people calling to say, we have a team that wants to come and work. They want to landscape. They want to do something with hammer and nails. And those people are making a huge impact every month on some kind of improvement that we need, or something that would just make the process smoother or nicer.
So what is the process if let's say a family needs to use the pantry? How do they get in touch, or what do they need to do?
What is the process of the family coming?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you have to be a Gallatin County resident,
Okay.
and that's it.
Okay.
And if you are need the assistance, you call us, and we set you up an appointment. We do ask for how many's in the family and their ages. And when after you get your appointment, then you come in and shop, and everything is set up according to how many is in your family.
Okay.
So if you've got 4, then you would get 3 items from this section, and then you would get 6 items from this section, and you would go through and get that. And people like that. But that's it. Gallatin County
It's
resident.
pretty simple.
We do ask for a proof of a piece of mail that you do live in Gallatin County. Other than that, that's it.
And when you say appointment, so that's just time to go through the food pantry.
Yes.
And is there a set schedule you all try to, like days you try to do, or?
We always do the 3rd Saturday of every month,
Okay.
and our appointments start at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and we can do about 12 families every 15 minutes.
Wow.
that's
It
like
seems
with
like a
5
lot to me. That
Yeah,
seems,
well,
it
I
seems-
mean,
a lot.
it is a lot.
It is
But
a lot.
we've got a good crew that we've got 4 shoppers every Saturday that we do it. So you got 4 shoppers going through, and as soon as they take it out, put it in a grocery cart, take it to their car, and the next cart comes in, and the next 4 people start.
So if you can picture it, so if you came in, you would be handed to a shopper after you check in. And that shopper is going to help you with the cart, go through and get all your items and put them in bags that you've selected for your family. And then we're going to give you to the outside team. And they're going to do the same thing outside, because we have items out there that are fresh food usually, or
Milk.
fresh produce
We
and
have
milk. And
meats.
so they're going to help you pick out those items. And then there's another team that's going to take you to your car. And everyone just keeps moving. And that's how we do the 12 families in that time frame.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It is a lot.
It's very impressive. I'm very impressed with the logistics. Just trying to picture, the time and care, and also I'm sure it's really nice for volunteers. Like you see you're making a difference, right? You're there, seeing the difference. What are some future plans, or what is something you all want to work on next? I mean, first thing, congratulations on an impressive 10 years. I mean, that is just
Thank you.
That's just really great, and especially just what you've all explained to me, the system and process you have in place. That's the logistics is. That's where it's at. That's a lot of work there. But what are some things that you all would like to see in the future?
Well, we definitely want to continue to see our numbers grow for the community, and I hope that more of the community would reach out. I feel like there are still more people out there that, we want to bridge that gap. We don't want families with children, or just if you're an elderly person, you live on a fixed income. We don't want there to be a gap that you have to decide, do I pay for my medicines this month, or do I get food for, for my family? We don't want that to be a choice. We want you to be able to know that there are resources here, and the pantry is available for you to, take care of your family when it comes to food.
We're constantly trying to educate everyone so they know we exist, why we're there, and what we can do. I mean, I believe in working with the court system. One of the things that I see continually are grandparents who are retired now taking care of grandchildren, and they simply don't have the funds because they worked hard all their life and they're on their retirement end of it. And at first, when we first started, we would try to get them in, and it was just nearly impossible. But then once they came and they realized we were just there to help support them, that was our mission and that was our job that day. And they have started coming in willingly, but they don't necessarily tell others. So we're constantly feeling like we need to tell everyone that we're there for everyone, and we're there to help their family when they're in need and their budget just can't make it that month.
So we just encourage people that we're all friends and family here. We're a very close community, and we don't want there to be a barrier for anyone.
Yeah, having compassion towards the
Yes.
people going through that process. Is there anything else that any of you all would like to add, though?
I would say fundraising is something that we continue to do, and the purpose of that is to keep us open. We have to have the funds to buy the food now. The R.C. Durr Foundation still continues to support us off and on with grants, but that's not a monthly
Right.
supplement any longer. The Free Store Food Bank continues to support us, but it's not a monthly supplement either. So we're buying everything now. We have fundraisers coming up. We have the talent show. Several years ago, we started doing a talent show at the high school auditorium, and it's quite fun because there's a lot of talent in Gallatin County that
There is.
it's fun to see. So we started doing that, and so we do that as a fundraiser. We also just, ask people, get involved. If your street wants something to do, instead of having a yard sale, maybe you could do a fundraiser. If your school class wants something to do, maybe you could do a food drive. We just encourage people to remember it is all volunteer. It is all supported by donations, and we need those.
I would assume any little bit helps, too. You all are
Absolutely.
probably masters at making money last.
Yes.
You have to
That's
stretch
true.
the dollar. You definitely do.
Stretch
And one of the things I think I had was eventually, we have a lot of people that have their hands busy trying to, obtain those resources so they continue to buy the food. But like having a grant writer, I think that's one of my things, like a goal is to have a grant writer that does just those things to allow us to continue for another 10 years and not have to worry about, are we going to have enough money for next year's, food costs?
And you all are a foundation then?
It's a 501c3.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So and you've got a board of directors and all that. And you're right. That grant writing is a unique.
It is.
It's a unique skill. It's an ability to pay attention to details. They tell you to put something, you got to put something.
Right.
So.
And that's a lot of why we collect statistics. How many members are in the family, the ages of the family, those kind of things, because it helps with the grant writing.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Food prices have increased. So
Right.
money doesn't go as far as it used to.
Right.
But we're all very budget conscious, so we're shoppers. And Carolyn is too. Carolyn can stretch a dollar.
She can.
She really can. And there's a lot of times that we have to have debates. What's it going to be this month? Because here's how much of this we could buy or how much of this we could buy. And we have to just be conscious of the budget all the time. So everyone watches the budget. Everyone's watching the safety. It's just a great team. We have a great team.
And we want it to be substantial. Like some of the packs of pork chops that Carolyn has purchased was like, oh my gosh, these are really nice. Big packs of pork chops for families. And it's like, so you want things to be substantial. And, part of, I looked at the last question about the future of the pantry, like what I want to see. It's like, ooh, I'd like to expand and grow and, those kind of things. And, Jim might want to hurt me, but I like to rotate the food. Let's change it up. Let's move this around there. And Carolyn's like, I don't know about that just yet. We have a lot of volunteers that work behind the scenes that are just phenomenal at what they do. And, I don't want to mess with that, but it's like, yeah, I want to rotate. Then I get aggravated though when I go to the grocery store. I'm like, where did they put that? Now it's not in aisle 4. It's in a different aisle. So now I'm thinking, rethink that question of,
Right.
but just rotating it, making it look different so that when the clients come in, it's like, oh, this is different, or we've moved this around, and
Yeah, because you're running at that moment a retail space.
yes.
So at the end of the month, or like after the third Saturday, is it pretty empty in there then after let's say that Sunday morning, or by the day's over, or
So one of our pet peeves was the first client to the last client has always been a pet peeve, that if I'm the first client in, it's stocked and ready to go and I get to shop. if I'm the last client coming in, I still want the same choices and the same look as the first client coming in. That's been one of our goals all the time. So part of our staffing and our volunteers is that, like, so I might, or Tammy might be the person that goes and fills the shelves in between all the shoppings. So, like, if the first 4 clients come in, then we go and we stock the canned goods and the soups to make sure that constant flow of people come in, that the shelves are all still full. You know, we make sure our inventory allows us to continue to make sure first and the last see the same thing.
Even though we've just had a shopping experience, the inventory is still there to get ready for next month. And we start again. The only thing would be usually meat, things like that that are fresher.
Right.
But as far as the canned goods, it'll start being replenished immediately.
That's pretty exciting. No, that's pretty neat. How can people support the pantry? Obviously volunteering.
Volunteering. We have fundraisers and we accept donations all the time. We've been fortunate there too. We have had a lot of support from local in the county, just individuals who want to send us a check. We have surrounding counties, many individuals the same way. They've heard about it. They may have a family or friend who live here and have participated. We also have grants that we apply for, and we have donors from farther away, as far as Florida, I know, have donated. Because they look at the website and they read the story and they go, okay, there's a rural community that could use a little extra help. We reach out to the churches. A lot of the churches have supported us, and they will either support financially or they'll pick an item. They'll say macaroni is their thing, and everybody from the church is going to bring macaroni for the next couple of months, and they supply enough for 140 families.
So are you all able to? And it sounds like you are, but able to appreciate what you've been able to do. Like, look back and like, wow.
I think we do. I think we were all surprised it had been 10 years.
I was worried about the first 3.
Right. So I think it was early this year I brought it up, and they all looked at me like, it hasn't been 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No.
it has been 10 years. I had to prove it. It was not good enough that I told them that I had to prove it. And then it really was a matter of reflection. It was really very shocking. And we Carolyn put together a wall of pictures for 10 years. And we had a group of people that came from Dow that made that look fabulous so you could remember. So that has helped. But generally, no, we don't think about what we've accomplished. We just keep doing.
Well, like you were already talking about what you all need next, and getting into that detail, which probably makes it a great experience for your customers.
Yeah. The donors, the community, our community is phenomenal. Just if there's a need and you reach out to that person, it's like they make it happen. Like the churches are very specific in that, how can we help you? And volunteers, they're amazing.
They usually don't say no. Just about everyone will say yes. Or if they do say no, it's I can't right now, but I will in 2 months. I'll be there.
Right.
Whatever they've got going on. Everyone that's involved enjoys it and wants to be there.
You all are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.